And there we go. And mute yourself if you would, please, when you're not speaking. All right. Before we enter public hearing, because we have only a limited amount of time from Mark Resnick, I was going to invite him to summarize for us the proposal regarding Powder House Reservation trails. Could you do that, Mark? Welcome, and let
Yes.
us.
Hi. What happened to you disappeared, but I hear you.
We're here.
Okay.
Would you like me to share the, actually, you should get on the back online first, but I can share the proposal if
if you could put
have the commissioners taken a look at the proposal in SharePoint?
Oh, I think I lost you.
We hear you. We see you too.
Oh, there you are. Okay, I see you now. So if you put the proposal up and go to like the third page,
okay,
the fourth page with it's a few more, fifth page to where the map is. I can kind of run through it with you and what they propose. So this is Powder House Reservation, which is Conservation Commission land. The Bike and Ped Committee had engaged with a few $1,000s of CPC money, a company called Northeast Trail Works to put together the report that was forwarded, put in the SharePoint folder. And they did an evaluation of the segment from the entrance to Powder House at the back of Newport Park, all the way kind of up and over to Pine Street, where the longevity bench is there, so that someone could make a loop through the property and try and make it as accessible as possible. So there's the map. So they broke it down into several sections, which allowed them to kind of put prices on it because each section has different characteristics. So the first section is the entrance from the back of Newport Park. Yes, exactly. Section 1, which is a fairly level section with a tiny little grade, little rise, and they really don't recommend that they do much work in that section. Actually, they don't propose to do any work in that section. It's also right adjacent to the vernal pool in the wetlands, so they felt that the existing material on the trail is fine.
There's a raccoon here.
Could whoever's speaking please mute yourself?
Sorry.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mark.
Then there's section 2, which is just the area around the where the bench is and the intersection there, and they recommend a new trail sign and kiosk and just kind of yeah, and that's what they recommend to do there. So they have a price for that. New trail sign and kiosk is $3,000. I'll give you their prices as we go through it, and then I'll tell you what the total is.
Mark, can I interrupt you for a sec? I'm so sorry.
Sure.
Are these improvements to trails for hikers or bikers, or for both hikers and bikers?
So I think the goal of the Bike and Ped Committee here was to make this more accessible for older people because of the fact that it is adjacent to Newport Park. And they're trying to encourage more use by those residents. So some of the work that I'll be describing is some regrading and two segments of trail relocation to to make it more accessible. It will not be a handicap accessible trail, because it still won't meet all the grades, because some of the existing grades are just, are are steeper than they could be, but they will be kind of between at most the 5 to 8% grade instead of the 0 to 5% in some locations.
So Mark,
Mhm.
where that bench is at section 2 there,
Yeah,
what is the new signage or kiosk, since the one there is relatively new?
yeah, I don't think they really proposed anything. I think it was if you want something there,
Ah,
they just put a cost to it. That's all.
okay,
So again, for each of these sections, we may or may not include some of the work.
okay.
So the kiosk doesn't. It's not necessary. Let's see. Number 3 is the long section of trail. It goes from the kiosk most of the way up to the hill where there are multiple forks there. That is a couple sections are like 5 to 8% in there. They would recommend that you do a like a handrail along the side of the trail, and then normally for something with that grade, you would have a couple kind of rest stops or level places if you were designing it to be truly accessible. So they would kind of recommend at least placing a couple benches along the route. But they would not recommend really any work to the trail itself. Then when you get up to, there's a new section 4, because the existing section 4 where it's in pink there is the grade is pretty steep, and there's like an old must have been a road or pathway through the red section, new section 4, which cuts out the steep grade. So we recommend kind of bypassing the steeper section and putting in a new section 4. So that section would be cost about $3,000. So, and the other thing is, then the commission may consider like abandoning that other section, and because it might not be necessary. So, but that's not in the report here. Then section 5, they talk about some other kind of minor work clearing, but they don't really put any cost to that. Now section 6, they have 3 different options for section 6. One is to build a boardwalk and then do some stairs and follow the existing path straight down to Pine Street. I wouldn't recommend we do that. The second one would be to reroute and to the new section 6 that takes you over to Longevity Bench. And that can be done for 2 reasons. One is it reduces the steep grade. You can abandon the steep section, which is eroding, and it also crosses, as you can see, a private property owner's property when there is really no easement for that trail there. So there's several advantages to creating the new section 6. There is a lower cost option to hand build that section, which is about $6,000. And they could be done with machinery, which would actually cost a lot more money. So I recommend that they hand build it for the $6,000. So in total, it's about Oh, and then they also have section 7, which is like the trail's already there, but they think it should have some park benches and stuff. Of course, it's where the interpretive sign and have a nicer area, so they would do some of that work for $4,500. Again, that's not an essential element. It wouldn't really be necessary. So the way I see it is the kind of the essential parts to redoing that trail section would be about $4,300 and $250 based on their cost estimates. So what I'd like to do is there is a trail grant that's usually they have a SMIDL sometime in January, maybe February. I think I was told they pushed it out last year into February. And I think it's through DCR. And if they fund that round this year, I'd like to put a grant application in, and it would be for, and I've got to look into the grant. I haven't spent a lot of time looking at it. It would either be for this or for what we looked at earlier today, which would be an access off of Pine Street to get into Manchester Woods. So we do have some funds for the Pine Street access. And again, that is something, both of these, I don't know whether all the commissioners have been out to look at them, but really just looking to answer any questions about this, make sure that you're in favor of this, so we could begin to look at one of either this or the other one for a trail grant. It'll also depend on what TrailWorks comes back with for a price to develop the Pine Street access. So, and I think I'll stop there.
Okay, so what you're looking for from us are intelligent questions and then maybe a vote to say we endorse this.
Mhm.
So you take it forward to a grant proposal. So let's take questions from the commission.
Mark, thanks for showing this. Can you clarify for that section 4, does it connect up to section 5, the new section 4 that they're proposing? It just looks like it's kind of
Yes.
hanging out there, but maybe there's a road that
Oh, yeah,
vacating? Okay.
it's kind of hard to see, but once you get up to the top of the red line, there's another trail there, and that trail doesn't really need any work. It's just
Okay.
there. It just makes the connection to the blue line.
Okay.
So,
All right. Thank you.
and then, yeah, so.
Great.
I should mention, one of the reasons that this is expensive is that they're going to take the areas that are filled with tree roots, which make it impossible to move a wheelchair easily or to kind of shuffle along if you have a shuffling gait. And they're going to improve those with underlayment, geotextile, and some topping so that they actually are wide enough and firm enough for more stable walking, and also in most cases for wheelchairs. I think it's mainly section 6 where they say it's going to be quite difficult to make it shallow enough grade so that you'd feel safe in a wheelchair. Section 6 comes downhill pretty steeply.
I've got a couple of questions. Mark, what's the total length of the trail? Finished.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to add up. They have some trail numbers, length numbers in each of the sections that
Yeah,
when they outline each of the sections.
it's the better part of 1,000 feet, David,
That's
roughly.
all, yeah.
Yeah.
And so my other question, follow-up question is, the interpretive sign at the top of section, I think it was 7, is that at the Powder House itself?
No, that's at the vernal,
Yes,
it's at the vernal pool.
Oh, at the
Um,
vernal pool, okay.
It's the one that Olga knows more about than any of us. I think she's actually the
Yeah.
creator of it.
So with this improved section of Powder House Hill, would it eventually connect to the Powder House itself, which is a historic site in town?
Yeah,
Yes.
the so-called yellow trail, David, goes up to the Powder House. So if you went up this and hung a right at the top of it, you get to the Powder House. You could
Oh.
also continue on down this thing and take the steep little trail on the hillside up. This Powder House is kind of that direction. Can't really point to it, but it's way off the map.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, just one more follow-up question. There was some talk at the Housing Authority about doing a land swap sometime in the future with possible addition of housing for the Housing Authority. Would that possibility interfere with this trail?
I don't know whether the land swap issue is really a feasible project. They were originally talking about the area kind of in the top left of this map behind the buildings here, which is all ledge. So since we've surveyed the rest of the Newport Park development property, the area in the upper way corner there crosses a seasonal stream, and there's some land there that could be developed, which is part of the development, which could be added on to. There'd have to be a little seasonal stream crossing there in order to get there, but I don't think the other complication is Article 97 land is conservation land. You'd have to get an act of the legislature to approve the land swap. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's a more complicated process than I think they were aware of. So.
Okay. Good. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone in the public have a question on this? Okay, well, I think I will hear a motion that says that we endorse in principle this improvement to the sections of trail that have been noted, subject to obtaining a grant and nailing down exactly which approach to take. We'd be happy to advise on that, but in general, we favor this kind of improvement. Is there a
So
second?
moved.
Second.
Good. Second, thank you. All right, all those in favor, Olga,
Aye.
Gordon,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
and
David. Aye.
David. Thank you, David, and the chair is an aye. It's unanimous. Thank you, Mark.
Well, thank you, everybody. I'll stay on for another few minutes and then I have a housing trust meeting. So thanks for moving me up, Steve.
Sure thing. Now we will recess into public hearing and take up the first notices of intent, and that is a continued notice of intent for 44 Norwood Avenue. Have I succeeded in stopping the share? No, I have not. There we go. DEP file 39-937, map 50, lot
Zoom's
21.
hard not to be a scumbag. Not. Liberals do it all the time.
Sorry. Will the party marked iPhone please
You
mute
need
yourself?
to delete the iPhone.
I think they left.
Yep, they left.
Thank you.
Thank you. So who is here? Mr. Stengel, are you here tonight? Yes, you are.
Good evening, Commission. Yes, I'm here. Thanks for hearing me again.
You want to bring us up to date on the answers to our questions, please?
Yeah. I can give a brief overview. I sent a letter of revisions that I believe should be in your SharePoint, but to kind of sum it up, there was some questions about getting a review of the wall that lines the brook underneath the house. There was some looking for a statement from the building inspector, a request for some architectural sketches, and there's some other minor updates based on questions from the last hearing. And then there's some outlines to and updates to the proposed based on some of those reviews and materials you're looking for.
Right. I think
And
the
to
main,
know, sorry, one of our big requests is, and I know we're going to get into this, is that we would like, we're seeking a letter permit approval to do some of the recommended work under the house or along the brook wall under the house while we're at a seasonal low brook level.
right. I reviewed that with our conservation administrator, and I think we both recommended to you, or we were inclined to recommend to you an RDA at the minimum, if you can't bundle it with the NOI, because it's work in the resource, not, this isn't just riverfront, this is actually the bank of the river. And, probably deserves the best protection we can give it. Is it not possible to bundle NOI tonight?
The request for the letter permit, I was assuming it would be bundled with the NOI, but in case the review tonight or the discussion of all, wherever it takes us, doesn't lead us to a conclusion, I was hoping to move forward with that work in the intermeeting time. But if that's not the will of the commission, then I understand. But yes, it was conveyed to me that this is above a letter permit type work, but considering we may be able to get the entire commission to opine on whether they approve the work, maybe there's a exception in this case.
Okay, well, let's take that in order, and let's get to the NOI. I was just going to say that I think the major concern that I heard from the commission when we discussed this several meetings ago was about the ability of the wall that is the bank of the brook and holds up the house to sustain the weight of whatever it is you're doing, to add some additional living space on top of the house and a new roof. So let's make sure you focus on that, and the engineering and the building inspector and whatnot on that subject.
Can we start with that, Nick?
Yeah, would you like me to discuss the work, the review I had done, or how would you like to?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
would you
so
like
I
me to
had,
then, like, communicate that.
Yeah, so I had Summit Geoengineering come and do a review of the wall, and he sent a letter in regards to the condition of the wall and the health of the wall, and in reviewing the materials that I submitted to him about the proposed, he was in support of the project.
Right. Did he analyze the change in load on the retaining wall of the brook?
I supplied him with the structural drawings that are included in your packet. I'm happy to pull them up and discuss them, but.
Yeah,
So the load calculations were done by the applicant and not the engineer?
yeah, that's what it says in his letter.
In his letter, yeah.
load analysis provided by you indicates that the load on the wall after completion will not exceed the existing load. And while we're always inclined to trust the applicants, in this case, we were seeking a third-party independent engineering opinion about that issue.
Steve, from my point of view, I'm going to vote no on this case. Just based on that, we specifically asked for a structural engineer to assess that load question. We can spend more time or not, your discretion.
Okay, I also was hoping the building inspector would weigh in, so to speak, on the load bearing characteristics, but what we have is a very short thing from Paul Orlando that says he approves of the flood elevations. So that leaves us in a little bit of a unsatisfied condition. Nick,
Steve, what does the building inspector's statement mean? He approves of the flood elevations.
oh, I think he thought they were properly drawn and that the building was going to be in compliance with the rules that are required for the 100-year and the 1,000-year and the et cetera flood stages. At least that's what I took it to mean. It's very short. It's one sentence. And I believe our conservation administrator had to chase him around the building with a sharp object to get that sentence.
Yeah, it was hard to because I did like as a favor reach out to him on behalf, like as a favor to the applicant because he couldn't reach him. And I emailed twice and then asked around on Tuesday. I'm like, has anyone heard from him? So
This is Paul, yeah.
yeah.
He's busy guy. In any event, neither of those things meets the standards, which I think, Henry, you articulated best 3 meetings ago. So I know you're anxious to get going, particularly while the stream is in drought conditions and it's kind of perfect to do mortaring work and whatnot. But I don't think we're in a position to authorize either the project or the repairs to the wall tonight. Does anybody on the commission disagree with that?
I don't disagree, but I think to be fair to the applicant, Steve, we should be quite clear as to what we're going to require for him to make a further appearance before us. Otherwise, we're just wasting our time and his money.
Okay. Well, Henry, do you want to take a whack at that? You want me to?
Well, David, I'm not sure you were at our last meeting, but we did make it pretty clear to Nick what we were looking for and why.
That was not there. You're
If we
correct.
do that again, we are wasting our time and no money, but we're wasting our time.
Yes. The key words were third-party, independent, and structural engineer.
Yes.
We were hoping to get someone to
Agreed.
weigh in, and the building inspector would have been a reasonable substitute if he was willing to, do the load calculations and say, yep, that wall's going to hold that house. It's unusual to build a house with one of the foundation sides being a retaining wall for a resource. Although I'm sure it's happened in the old days when people, hung their houses over the ocean and whatnot. But it's rare nowadays. Nick, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon in this town either. I'm not the only one. Maybe I misheard in the last hearing, but I explicitly remember saying that I was going to get a structural review and being corrected for a geotechnical. So if we are looking to pursue a review of the calculations that I've provided, then and that's the will of the
No, we're
commission,
not going
then
to review your calculations, Mr. Stengel. We want a structural engineer to review your calculations and state it by their credentials, not yours. And at that time, we'll hear the case.
Yeah, if you are able to ask the Summit Geo Engineering Services engineer if he is competent to do the load analysis himself, and then opine on the the structural integrity of the wall under that load, that will satisfy me at least.
Understood, and that's a clear communication. I can move forward on that request. I do ask that if there is other materials provided or updates that the commission would like to give feedback on tonight, that I would find that valuable.
Yeah, I think we owe it to you to make a final request. Does anyone, having looked at the additional materials provided, particularly in the last few days, does anybody have anything other than the structural question that we just cited?
So Steve, I just wanted to clarify, there is a new proposal as part of this revision to repair the wall to the east, I guess, of the house before the deck is put in. And I just wanted to clarify that that was the plan and find out if there were any other details that the commission would want to hear about that proposed reconstruction of the wall. Because that does feel like it will impact the resource, right?
Yeah, I found this a little confusing myself. My understanding, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, is that where the wall supports the house, what is being proposed is mortaring. Where the wall continues downstream, which is west of the house.
Oh, west, sorry.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and the wall is degrading there, partly because there's a lot more moisture reaching the back of the wall than it would be if it was covered by a house, where no moisture reaches the back of the wall to speak of. There, you're talking about disassembling and rebuilding the wall with much better backing in terms of drainage and hydrostatic pressure. Is that correct, Nick?
I think you characterized the proposal correct. Yeah, I added a detail on sheet C2 that shows the mortaring as everything from the current building bounds on the west side all the way east is just mortaring and weep holes. And then there was noted on the letter from SGS that the wall directly adjacent to it has seen some degradation, and that to keep an eye and monitoring it. And my own opinion is that if I'm going to do this from the land side versus the brook side, that it'd be far easier to do when the deck isn't there.
Mhm.
Yeah, understood. Okay, so I think it's appropriate to have a motion to continue this to our next meeting, which is the 20th?
21st?
21st. Thank you.
I second the motion.
Could I just, I mean, the question was asked, do we have anything else?
Yes, Jim, go ahead.
And I guess, and this is not my area of expertise, which is, but if this house were to be built today, I guess what I'm trying to understand is what elevation would be required to deal with the flood risk. And that's where I thought we were trying to go with understanding the current, flood zone, rules. And so if the current house is in compliance with what a new house would be, well, then that's easy. But if a new house would have been 4 feet higher, then I want to understand that, because I think what we're saying about the wall and everything else is that, ordinarily you would be raising this up and putting a new foundation in. So if we're making an exception, I want to understand the exception that we're making. And maybe that's not in the purview of ComCon or not, but I think that's what the question I thought about the flood zone was about, to make sure that we're not leaving in place, doing this work in a flood zone that puts both the new house and the river stream at risk. And so, you know, I raise that now just because the applicant asked, what else are we worried about? And that's, you know, they're tied together in my mind. So I just don't know what the rule would be if this were a new construction. Not that that's the driving force, but it would be helpful if that's clear.
I thought the building inspector, that was what his answer was.
And
So
I'm hoping that that's the case. I just don't know. I didn't read it to know if that was, if he was answering the same question that we had, you know, the way it was phrased. But that would be very helpful if that's the case, that.
Well, I mean, maybe the simplest way to do that is for Bethany to continue her reminders to Paul Orlando, and let's see if he can give us a few more sentences that describe the answer to that question.
So what do you want me to ask? Like, shouldn't the applicant be asking Paul about that?
Well, Paul's issued an opinion. We just want to know what it means in terms of Jim's good question. So
Okay.
does it mean that this building is now in compliance as if it were a new construction? Or does it mean that essentially an exception is being granted to this building given the new the new FEMA maps? Because it's already there, it has a basement, it has a foundation, and the applicant's not proposing to change those, just to strengthen them.
Okay. I'll try to
Unless,
chase it down.
unless Nick, you have the answer to that question tonight, do you?
Yeah, multifold. I can get Bethany doesn't have to pursue Paul as long as he remains communicative. I can get him to write that letter. I think he won't have a problem with that. And then when it comes to building in the floodplain and the conclusions reached, the house a house could be built at the elevation that I'm given. It actually could be built at grade if flood vents were built no higher than 1 feet above the existing grade. But with the current proposed elevation, flood vents are not required. I think when it comes to horizontal additions and new construction, homes cannot be put below grade.
Okay,
And we are not available, or I'm not available October 21st. So when we are there, it would be to the following meeting.
gotcha. Okay. Well, let's vote on this motion to continue. All those in favor or opposed? Olga,
I,
Jim,
Yes.
Jeff,
Aye.
Gordon,
Hi.
David,
Yes.
Henry,
Aye.
and I am an aye as well. Thank you. I'm sorry this is dragging on, but I'm sure it'll be worth it. Thank you, Nick.
All right, thanks, Commission. Good night.
Good night. Our next item is a request for determination of applicability from 25 Bennett Street. Owner Ed Martin. There's a local number, but I don't have it. Bethany, do you happen to have a local
Going
number?
to have to research the local numbers. So
When you mean a local number, what do you mean, sir?
It's not a DEP
it's like
number.
an
We
it's like a
assign local.
number. Yeah, I have to research that because I haven't seen any my time here, but I'll look into it.
It's on us. We will do that.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Mr.
All right.
Martin, are you here tonight?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Great. Thank you. Yeah, the welcome, and we hear you fine. Can you give us a synopsis of what you need to do?
Well, we have a series of, there's a piece of property behind mine that belongs to the Forster Road Association. And there is, it's a wooded area. Within that wooded area, there are 11 spruce trees 9 of which, I believe, according to Bethany, are in the riverbed zone. Is that correct, Bethany?
Riverfront area.
Riverfront area. In the riverfront area. We would like to take down those trees because many of them are, well, at least 4 or 5 of them are dead. And the others are in a state of decay. So I approached the Forster Road Association about the trees, and they said they would pay for half the cost of removing them. And then we took bids. I got a bid from Mark Sequoia Tree, Mayor Tree, and Iron Tree. And Sequoia had the best proposal. It was considerably more affordable to remove the trees. And then Mark looked at Google Maps and he said, this is a riverbed area. Is that correct?
Riverfront area, yeah.
Riverfront area. And that we needed to approach the Conservation Commission before we removed the trees in the riverfront area. What would be done is we would have a crane come from Sequoia Tree. It would be parked on the asphalt. There would be a police detail, and we would cut down the trees, and we would cut them as close to the ground, the stumps as close to the ground, so there would not be any disturbance of the soil. If need be, we can actually, because it's a private road, we can actually go through the Forster Road Association and close the road if you need to do that as well to protect the soil from erosion. There's also a significant amount of trees there other than the spruce trees. And there's also a large amount of forsythia, which spreads like crazy. And so rather than remove that other foliage, we would just like to let that take over and to protect the soil from erosion.
Good idea. Would you object to leaving some of them as stumps?
When you say as stumps, we were not going to grind any stumps, Chairman Gang. We're not. We were going to cut them as close to the ground as possible, but I'm not sure why you would want to leave them as stumps. But
we've been asking in some cases, where it's not going to be a visual issue or a utility, say in the middle of a lawn. This sounds like it's going to remain a wooded area. You're going to hope for some expansion of the low canopy stuff, like the bushes, shrubs.
right.
In those conditions, we ask that some of the stumps be left even up to a height of 12 feet because they provide an exceptionally good habitat. Initially for a lot of bugs, then immediately after the bugs for a lot of birds eating the bugs and bats, and there's a whole succession of habitat uses, particularly near a stream. So these might be good candidates. If they're diseased and about to fall over anyway, then they're not.
As long as they were not close to, I guess, the house. I mean, there's one that's right near the power lines that it's dead. It's dead already.
Yeah.
And I think that one, it could create some problems. So I think that one has to be taken down. Some of the ones that are closer to my house. But
this is a case where we probably wouldn't require any of those. We would recommend and let you and Mark make a game time decision about whether and which might be eligible for that, because it's a bonus, not a.
But we're open to it, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions from commissioners?
Henry has his hand up.
Yep.
Go ahead, Henry.
Steve, I I'm reading through this and just understanding tonight that it seems as though a portion of the land is owned by Forster Road Association, but we don't have any approval by Forster Road Association
Mhm.
to allow the cutting.
That's my concern too. I'd prefer to have something in writing that
Yes.
at least.
Well,
right?
I can provide that. I've been in contact with Lee Delacour and Jakes, who's the president, Delacour is the vice president, and Keith Bellucci. I can provide that a document that if you would like that.
So we can make that a condition.
Okay.
Thank you.
Would that be suitable?
That would be suitable. I mean, I can get that for you tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I'm content with that being a condition of going ahead.
Yeah.
Any other questions, concerns?
Gordon still
Any-
has his
that
hand up,
was-
I think.
That was
Oh,
my
oh,
point as well. So.
Yours too, Gordon.
Sorry.
Anyone in the public want to ask a question or state a position on 25 Bennett tree removal? Okay, I'm hearing none. So a motion for a -2, I guess, in this case. Is that right?
So moved.
What's a motion for a -2?
Oh, that's a determination that we are not applying any of the rules and we're therefore allowing a permit to go through.
It's a good
Oh.
thing.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah,
good thing.
good thing.
All right.
It's
I just
topsy-turvy.
I didn't understand the legal terminology, sir.
Yeah.
Negative is good in this case. Yeah, it took us a while too. All right, moved and seconded to issue a -2 with the condition that the commission receive a letter indicating that the Forster Road Commission Association agrees to this.
In writing.
In writing, yeah.
Yes, as most letters are. All those in favor, Jim,
Yes, approve.
Jeff,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes. Yes.
Olga,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Henry,
Aye.
and I am a yes. So that's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Well, thank you, sir. And I'd like to also thank Bethany because she's been a tremendous help in this process. And she really is an asset to your commission.
Thank you, Ed.
Music to our ears. Thank you.
Glad to have.
Send the letter.
It
Thank
was a
you.
very good hiring decision. Thank you,
Thanks.
Bethany, for everything.
No
She
problem.
deserves a raise too.
Yeah, and I love that she actually blushes at things like this. It's great.
It's my rosacea, actually, Steve.
That's awesome. All right, next we have an RDA for 3 Overledge Road from John Arnston, involving proposed construction of a deck addition, which is within the 100-foot buffer to wetland and the 200-foot riverfront area. Are you here tonight, Mr. Arnston?
Yes, I am.
Arnston.
Aren't then.
Arntzen.
Arnston. Do you want to summarize this for us quickly?
Yeah, sure. So my wife and I are the homeowners at 3 Overledge Road. And this RDA is to construct a deck addition to the house. So the deck will be constructed of wood framing with wood deck boards that will have pervious gaps between the deck boards. And the deck will be supported on your typical poured concrete footings that are set into the ground. And any loose soil and excess material from the footing holes will be covered or removed during the construction to prevent any erosion. There's, as you see on the photograph there, there's a slight slope to the grade. The deck is going to be to the left of that end of the house there. But there's not going to be any grade changes. It's just going to be poured concrete footings above what you see there. And you can see in green outline there is where the new deck addition is. The line
Mm.
just above there is the 100-foot line to the riverfront boundary. So you can see most of the deck is beyond 100 feet, but there's a small little corner in the upper right there that's within the 100 feet. And it's my understanding that the RDA is the appropriate path for this as opposed to an NOI. Because it was pointed out to me during some conversations that the conversion of a lawn to an accessory structure, such as decks, are not subject to the regulations requiring a full notice of intent. So that's about it.
Good. Can you tell us how many footings you'll need to support this?
It's probably going to be 8 to 10.
Okay. And how will you finish the space below the deck? Will it just be open?
Correct. Yeah, I'm not even going to put any skirt boards in or lattice work.
Got it.
I went out there
Mhm.
today
Thank you.
just to check out the site. I met John's wife, and it is just like a lawn area. And she told me that it was being built with mahogany and that it will be pervious to let rain go through. That's what
Yes.
he told me.
Good. Any other questions from the commission?
I'm comfortable with this.
Henry?
Just a quick note, I mean, I think Mr. Arntzen correctly points out one aspect of WPA, but does this not fall within 200 feet of riverfront? And therefore, maybe we should see an NOI?
I thought the exception was for riverfront.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm no lawyer. I'm very new to this, but I was advised by one engineer that I spoke with. He said, "Save your money. You don't need me to file a full NOI. You can do this with the exception of converting a lawn, like I said, to an accessory structure, even if it is within that 200 feet."
Bethany, do you know if it distinguishes between BVW buffer and riverfront resource?
I can't think off the top of my head right now. I'm sorry.
All right, well, we can condition that upon finding out.
So we'll send out the Concom police force to
Exactly.
stop the work. We probably should see if we can nail that down quickly. I don't have my library of cheat sheets in front of me. Does anybody have the
It's referenced in my letter, the exact section of 310 CMR.
yeah. You're right. 10.02 B2E. If I can get that quickly.
Conversion of lawns to decks, sheds, patios, and that are accessory to single-family homes as long as the house existed prior to August 7th, 1996. The activity located more than 50 feet from the mean annual high water of the riverfront area or bordering vegetated wetland.
Yeah, but as I vaguely remembered, it covers both resource. And the requirement is 50 feet and a building built before 1996.
Yes, August 7th. I don't know why, but it's August 7th, 1996.
Okay, so is
It's
this
both buffer zone and riverfront area that the exemptions are for.
is this building more than 29 years and 45 days?
Yes,
old?
I think the year is around 1966, maybe it was built.
Yeah, that's
That's before 96. Yeah.
plenty of clearance.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Yep, thank you. Any comments from the public on this one? 3 Overledge Road. Hearing none, I'll hear a motion in this case for a -3. with any conditions that you
So
want
moved.
to toss
So
out?
moved. Or -3 on,
Mhm.
3 Overledge Road.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor? Henry,
Aye.
Gordon,
Hi.
Jim,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Jim,
And I'm an aye.
Olga.
Aye.
I'll be an aye too. Jeff, did you weigh in?
I didn't hear you call my name. Yes.
Yes. Good, that's unanimous. Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Yep, good work. And our final matter for public hearing is a request for certificate of compliance on 159 and 157A Pine Street, Mass DEP file 39-171. So this is an oldie, a moldy oldie from 1990.
Yes, it's 35 years old.
It is. It's for connection of a sewer system, which, as I understand, was a little complicated because it required running a pipe under Pine Street and back to the kind of the furthest reach of our public sewer, which is Rockwood Heights.
Dave, can we
area.
ditch the screen share? Thank you.
Yes, I didn't start it, so I couldn't stop it, but there you go. And I think I saw you here. Yes, there you are, Tom. Greetings.
Hello.
You want to give us a 3 sentences on this?
Sure.
This old goodie?
There used to be a trailer home on that. It had a septic system which failed. Manchester was under a moratorium for no connecting to sewer, but it was an emergency as far as the town was concerned. So they said connect to sewer. But as you said, not only did it have to go to under Pine Street, but it had to go across some wetlands in order to connect to the sewer that's, as you said, it was really connecting to where the pumping station is. So they required double casing of the piping as well as concrete. Lad Construction did it. And I'm not sure why it was never closed, but we're selling the house, so it came up in a title search. So we're just looking to close it. If you have questions, I'll try to answer them.
Okay, any questions?
Nope.
No.
I assume that if there had been a failure of this exquisite pipe system, we would have known about it by now.
So I'll move we issue a certificate of compliance for 157 Pine Street.
Second.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor? Jeff,
Aye.
Olga,
Aye.
Gordon,
Hi.
Henry,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
David.
Aye.
And I'll make that unanimous. Thank you. Good luck with the sale.
Okay, thank you all.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So that ends the public hearing portion of the meeting. Thank you for all those who've attended and participated in spirit, if not in voice. We have no orders of condition to pass tonight, nor any minutes for review. Is that right? We've discussed the trail improvements at Powder House. I'll just say on behalf of Olga, we're collaborating with the open space and the bike and ped committees and looking at this new trail access on Pine Street, which will definitely not be for less than serious walkers, because it involves going up about 80 feet in about 80 feet. But the good news is it's a lovely, beautifully scenic place to step off Pine Street and go up. And it connects within quarter mile to the trail system that's already there in the Western Woods. And it's a corner of the trail system that's mainly used by mountain bikers and not terribly heavily. So it's quite pretty and easy enough to access the carriage road that comes off, fire road that comes off Crooked Lane. So that we don't have a bid back, but we did have Northeast Trail Works, the folks who gave us a bid on Powder House, look at this. They were really enthusiastic because it's full of boulders, and the idea of moving them around with some block and tackle and creating essentially a stairs was pretty exciting to them. That's the kind of work that lasts centuries, not decades or years. We also took them to Dexter Pond, where there's a lot of overgrowth and deadfall, some deadfalls blocking the trail that goes around the pond. And then there's this colossal beaver construction project that apparently has been abandoned. So it's kind of beaver archaeology to look at it. It's overgrown and everything, but it's it interrupts the trail in a very complete way. So they're actually thinking hard about that one, whether it be a boardwalk over the beaver thing or a tear out the beavers tried to close up the outlet. As you may know, the pond doesn't have a lot of inlet or outlet. It's pretty stable. But it'll be worth getting a trail around there. What else? Some of you, I think, maybe I was the only one, we're on the just an inaugural walk around by Greenbelt of the trails in Long Hill. They've already put up very nice signage. They seem to be masters of that art form on their trails and trailheads. And DPW has improved the parking right at the top of Colburn Road. And they have plans to do a lot more, including bringing back some of the old trails. So those are good things.
And we also found out when we were doing Dexter Pond, the trail, that we still have a contract with Cape Ann Trails. So they're
Right.
going to gather volunteers to clear the rest of the trail and make it it's a beautiful short hike. And so that will be a wonderful thing to feature for the town.
And I'm just going to share my screen for a second here because the new head of Cape Ann Trails is a woman named Amy Blondin, whom some of you may know. She was the GIS expert at the Manchester Essex Conservation Trust. And before we took the walk today, she pulled out a map she created, which you'll see in a minute, I hope. There, can you see it?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's loading.
Not yet. Okay, it's loading.
There it is.
It's a dense PDF. Okay, so this is the Western Woods. It's quite large. It's
Can you expand that at all?
Sure. Hey. Better?
Better.
Yes.
Okay, so this is Pine Street with the interchange on 128. This is the end of Crooked Lane with the new development up the hill and the carriage road coming off it. And it's a useful map because it shows you the existing trail off Upper Pine Street, which is used only by the very brave, because this portion is just steep soil, basically not usable in the wintertime or spring. The new trail would come up here. But the reason I wanted you to see this map is because she was able to distinguish Town of Manchester conservation land, which is this light green stuff, including the Christian Hill property, and Town of Manchester not conserved property, which is the light blue stuff. That includes a great deal of this stuff over by the Beverly border. And I think this will be a useful start in what we've been talking about doing for a while, which is making a proposal at town meeting that these properties be voted into conservation. Obviously, we'll have to talk to other people in the town government and make sure nobody plans to build a new fire station or playing field out there. But those things have been debated and pretty much rejected because these are landlocked, filled with wetland and hills and just plain hard to access.
Steve, there's
So
there's a surprising amount of unknown ownership properties.
yeah, this white stuff is a kind of a blemish on the whole town. We even spent a fair amount of money with a talented deed researcher about 5 or 6 years ago, trying to identify owners. I think the issue is until we know who the record owner is, the town can't take the land, even though there's been no real estate tax in some cases for decades on these. So they're eligible for tax taking. We just need to observe all the rules and procedures. I guess the good news, David, is that they probably wouldn't be a whole lot more protected if they were town land under conservation, because if we can't find the owners, nobody can buy it.
Interesting, but it would be nice to have it under our umbrella, and it would make the properties more contiguous. Who would take responsibility for undergoing that task of identification or processing? If they can't be identified as owners, who would process the legal procedure to acquire those?
So David, we found out from Mark Resnick that the town is hiring someone to do deed search. Am I correct in this, Steve?
Yeah, I think so, to work for the assessor essentially, because
Yeah.
the stated goal would be to get them back on the tax rolls. So as we can find out who owns them, we can start sending bills. And then when those bills are unpaid, we can consider taking title away. I mean, it is worth noting, this is the high point of Manchester, I think. This is Great Hill. And it's largely owner unknown and otherwise unprotected.
Incredible.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing that I've got my finger on the pulse of, there's nothing to report, which is the Gordon College project to hope to build some apartment building complexes on their land right across from the old transfer station new compost facility. There's apparently no news from the developer or the college.
And one other thing is
Not an appetizing place to put a housing project.
Yeah. It's 7 Central. We still haven't heard anything from
No.
Bethany. All right,
We
so
just got a text from Mark. I'll read it. I forgot to mention, I did not hear back from Ed Flamia or John Harden about reminding them of 7 Central notice of intent. I've been reminding Mark to send emails and calls, and he has for many weeks now. I have heard, me personally have heard, is it 0?
Guys, I think we look terrible. This makes us look terrible. We've been pursuing this for months. And I don't understand fully the reasons that we can't get Eddie to do this. Everybody we all know him and talk to him and say hi and slap him on the back, and he builds beautiful buildings. But I actually think it looks so bad for us that it looks like we're colluding with him to allow him to do this. He's going to finish his project. His projects are opening in the next week. They're going to be done, and we have nothing.
Is there any way we can block a certificate of occupancy because he hasn't filed the NOI?
Not that I know of. Bethany, do you ever hear of that?
I never heard of that. We could do like an enforcement order
I think we should.
to
Yeah.
tell him to stop.
Yeah, our only remedy is money financial damages, penalties.
What if we avoid that, Steve, and we just don't give a certificate of compliance to the property?
No, that takes years sometimes. No, we need to.
People
we need-
ignore
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, we're not, no one's gonna ask us for a certificate of compliance because there's no NOI permit out there.
Yeah, it wouldn't be applicable.
We have, our only,
He needs a strong enforcement letter with stating what the penalties will be and a date.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And he knows
think-
about it. He told us it would be done and
Yep.
it's not.
Hmm.
I mean, I like him and I like what
yeah,
he
I don't,
does, but this is not.
I- I agree. I have to say, I don't think financial penalties will have any real meaning to him.
No.
What might move him is an indication that we intend to publicize this beyond our, the end of one of our meetings, which is when it comes up, when it has the least audience.
I like the certificate of occupancy angle. To me, that,
I just am not personally sure because I never had a deal or did this before, so I'm not personally sure if we could like stop that. I would have
Yeah,
to maybe.
Jim, I'll give you the example. Unfortunately, if you have an outstanding notice of intent that you have not closed with a certificate of compliance, like Tom Atwater we just saw, you can't officially record your deed. The new owner can't record the deed. Lawyers construct loopholes with contingencies and side agreements to get around that, but that's the letter of the law. If you never never applied for an NOI, then we can't stop you from selling your property, even though you should have. So I think that's probably what's going to work here, which is we can't prevent somebody who's just ignoring us from doing other legal acts like getting a CO. Although I'd be happy to explore it. I think more like we
I
have
just
to
think
write a
that
letter.
would be, it's just part of the regulatory framework is, the office down the hallway, and there ought to be some cooperation. Otherwise, people could ignore the Board of Health and they could ignore whatever they want.
Right. Well, the good news is that as far as those of us like Henry and I who've walked around the property, they haven't despoiled the resource, and they've in fact done approximately what we would have asked them to do in terms of erosion controls, limits of work. We didn't like the fact that they had a dumpster out in back between the building and the resource, but then they moved it. I think they were probably going to move it anyway when we asked. So this isn't a case of being able to say to the building inspector, you can't issue a certificate of occupancy because these guys are damaging a wetland.
They haven't filed that could be a reason for an enforcement order, I think, is not
It
filing.
can.
And in the past, Steve, we have pursued cease and desist letters.
Yeah. Yes, when we get to that point. Henry, why don't you and I help Bethany write an enforcement letter if the commission is in agreement, and send it between now and a week from now, so it'll be in time for him to respond. We'll give him a date, ask him to attend or have his representative
October
attend
21st meeting.
our October 21st meeting with his notice of intent or an extremely good explanation of why he can't file it.
And and he's not done on 7th Central. There's still a lot of work to do. He's done the outside of the 7th Central part, but that's about it. So we can say in the enforcement letter that we may be forced to do a cease and desist if we don't get it by then.
And make the attendance mandatory for October
Yes.
21st meeting.
Yes.
Because Mark is their main contact, but I don't know.
Well,
I haven't heard anything.
yeah, as we've said before, the planner always has two hats, right? He's
Yeah. I
supposed
think
to encourage expansion of the tax base and improvement of the town and also to protect the wetlands.
I think
But-
someone from the public has their hand.
Yeah, I've noticed a hand is up. We're not officially in a public hearing, but I'm gonna ask Beatrice.
Before you do that,
Shelley?
Wait,
Yeah,
wait.
Jeff, go ahead first.
in terms of the letter, what if we just cut to the chase and did a cease and desist order? And said, appear before us on the 21st with an application.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a simple.
I think that
That's
what's
a-
gonna happen is on the 21st, we're gonna issue cease and desist, because he won't show up.
Listen,
Or if he does show up, it won't be to our satisfaction.
Steve, can I say something? This is the most significant historical restoration in town and as maybe in 100 years. Why are we rushing to penalize this fellow? Why don't we do a little research first before we immediately determine that we're going to slap his hand?
No, we
Yeah,
have
but
been
I don't think
asking-
we're penalizing anyone. I think that we're asking him to hold to the same standard we ask all Manchester residents, which is protection of the wetlands.
But
And I
let's-
don't think you were here, Dave, but he told us in a letter a few weeks ago that he would have the notice of intent at Bethany's desk 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
And
maybe he's
as
been
did
sick
his
or on
architect.
vacation. Let's not just overreact. Let's take gradual steps towards enforcement or penalties.
David,
We-
since this project started, and I'm talking 7 Central, there were violations of
The dumpster.
our standards in terms of runoff and the way that the deconstruction, the
Demo.
demolition was happening in that building. That was probably a year ago or close to a year ago. I don't think that, you know, we're being brash or impatient to say, stop and pay attention.
You know, David, he phoned into a meeting from an airport lounge somewhere 2 meetings ago and promised to have his NOI in.
Yeah,
So we're just holding him to what he,
Well,
Yes.
a cease and desist is kind of a nasty sounding correspondence as opposed to just reminding him that he was going to do this and we're not going to support a certificate of occupancy until he delivers it. And the time it's going to take for him to do this will be less than the time it takes to call the lawyer to figure out if we have standing on a cease and desist or a C of O.
yeah.
I think
I-
we need to just have him like set like a deadline of you need to come October 21st with the materials.
Yeah, I'm inclined,
And
To-
we've done that in the past.
yeah, I'm inclined to split this to say, you know, this letter is an enforcement order compelling you to come with your NOI or your representative, someone to come with an NOI for our next meeting, October 21st. And the alternative, which will take effect on October 21st, is that we're going to vote on a cease and desist order.
I think that's the best.
We lay out a
Yeah.
pathway that says you can fix this belatedly now, or you can face a stoppage of work.
That sounds a little
And
more
he'll just tell
reasonable
his
to me.
people, get it done before the 21st.
You don't think he will? You think-
He would just tell his people, get it done before the 21st.
Well, he needs to like message me before that so I can do a legal ad or it won't be.
Yep, the deadline is short, but you know, he's,
Bethany,
He's
in the
got-
letter, just let him know what the deadlines are that you need.
Yeah, if like Steve
the
and Henry
agenda.
could help me with that, that would be helpful.
Yes, we will.
There's someone from the public raising their hand, but
yes, and I was gonna say, in this case, we'll let Beatrice Cicelli speak up. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
Hi.
Tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Beatrice, and I'm here to represent AGM Property. There is a Edward Flemia company, and I'm here to ask you forgiveness, and we will file everything before Friday. And for 7 Central, of course, I took notes of what you said, and we were all focused on the new opening of the 2 commercial spaces in the corner of School Street, because I mean in the next 2 weeks we will have two shops in that corner, so we were in a rush for that, but we will file everything before Friday. Edward assured me that we will have everything before Friday, so I'm very sorry for what happened, but I mean, it's our intention to file everything. Okay.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Any
Thank you.
questions for?
Does it matter that the office is closed on Friday?
Sorry.
What is our deadline, Bethany, for the next meeting?
It was today,
Today. Okay.
but if you have it by Friday, I can still do.
Well, Thursday.
Thursday.
I'm sorry, by Thursday, I can still do a legal ad.
Okay. So within Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Not,
because
not
the
trying to be
office-
picky about it, Beatrice, but the office is closed on Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
town hall is closed officially.
Okay.
But that's helpful. Anything else, commissioners?
Well, it's a little thing, but the bridge on 68 Pine, where are we at with that one?
I mean, anything else for Mr.
Oh,
Flem,
for Beatrice? No.
Shelley?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
The bridge behind 68 Pine, where did we leave that?
I thought you were in contact with.
I was, and
Elise.
what did she promise to
She
do?
just removing it.
Yeah, she's gonna remove it and either put in
A stepping stone.
stepping stones or something else, because the main users were her children. And the brook is kind of minuscule. Well, I gather it's not removed. I haven't looked at it in months. Is that right, Gordon, Olga, anybody?
I haven't poked my head behind there.
Okay,
Maybe you
Um,
can.
Volunteer. I'll stop by.
okay, well, Bethany, can you put it on your list? While we're talking about that, Olga pointed out an interesting thing right on one of the backyards that abuts Dexter Pond. There's an area where Dexter Pond overflows seasonally, and some of it evidently goes in this backyard. So they have put a stone wall up there that's native and kind of attractive boulders. And now it appears that they're trying to mound up earth on their side of the stone wall to create kind of a berm. And they've had some equipment in their backyard, judging by the tracks, and have excavated what looks like a fairly substantial hole, a hole large enough for a septic system, although I think they're on town sewer there. So that's worth, when you have the time, finding out who is it, what are they doing, and do they realize they're well within 100 feet of a protected resource?
Where is,
What's the
I don't know where.
address, Steve?
It's hidden ledge. Is that hidden ledge? or-
Let me pull it up on a map and I'll tell you.
I'm not familiar with all where these things are yet.
Yeah, I meant to do that.
We'll show
earlier
it to you.
Years ago, a neighbor of ours on Mill Street was installing a septic system, new septic system in his yard. And I was saying, that's pretty expensive. And he says, yeah, it's like digging a hole, buying a brand new car, putting the car in the hole and burying it. So maybe they're just burying a car, Steve. Maybe they're not really building a septic system.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to do that near a resource.
Oh, come on.
Clever idea. So here, I'll share this. Maybe. Come on. I believe it's 4 Ledgewood Circle. When this comes up, you'll see the pond here. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the property that has a very big backyard abutting it at an area where you can see it's prone to flood.
Okay.
It's owned by Ledgewood Circle LLC.
Let me figure out who owns it and
Yeah.
contact information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And I think that's all I have. What else do other people have under new? old business?
Steve, I had a
Or-
question about, I noticed there's painting being done at 52 Central Street, which is that house right, at the corner of across from the gas station.
Oh, yeah, more than painting, they stripped it down to the,
Yeah, it felt
Does.
like they had been to us recently to close out a certificate of compliance or something like that, if I was correct.
yeah, they rebuilt the elevated deck.
Should they
behind the
had
house.
some kind of permit for that kind of activity with potential debris?
I
Lead
haven't,
paint?
I haven't
No
heard anything from,
No permit that I know of.
I haven't heard anything
What?
about that.
What do people think about it? It was a pretty aggressive paint removal. I mean, like taking off a century or two of paint right down
Yep.
to the wood.
Yeah.
It's probably lead paint because they were wearing hazmat suits.
Oh, great.
Wow.
Well, that's okay for the resource.
I come in from like School Street, so all of this like other side, I
I
don't.
didn't see any hazmats. I just saw them with leaf blowers blowing the paint chips away.
No, they were hazmated first.
Wow.
Hmm.
Well, between us, Bethany, you and I can find out what that is.
Okay.
And they
And,
should do an after the fact, something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, or describe exactly how they protected the resource. It doesn't
Yeah.
sound like they did.
Yeah. People are being misbehaving lately here, I guess.
End of the times.
No, this is the misbehavior hour of our meeting.
Right.
God, yes.
The chimes are ringing 8 o'clock. Is there
Okay.
anything else on
We're
anyone's
good,
mind?
we're good, we're good.
We're good?
Yeah,
No,
Yankees
no,
are winning
no.
1-0
No.
in the top of the seventh with one out, and Rafaela's on first.
Okay, well, I think, is Crotchet still pitching?
Give me
I'll
a sec.
find out. Let's go find out.
So may I move to adjourn?
Please,
You may.
second.
Second.
Anyone objecting, please indicate now. Hearing none, it is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
everyone.
Good night,
Crotchet's still
everyone.
pitching.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Beth.
Bye.
Problem.